act in response to the will, and 邪恶家园大魔头至中国反邪教网. The great demon of the evil homeland replies to China's anti-cult network. Xiefeng. July 30th, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Fighters of China's anti-cult network. First of all, if you feel that you are doing right and are confident in your actions, then do not delete or block my article here. If you are scared, then delete it or block it. You have been a great help because your video, The Home of Evil, has expanded Life Chanuan's influence, which is exactly what I have been looking for. As for whether or not people believe your video's content, you know that in today's China, it is everyone's tacit understanding. Nowadays, only mindless people still believe the messages published by governments at your level. After watching your video, I can see that you have put much work into it, but also that it is still rough and that your understanding needs refinement. You said that you rescued believers who had been directed remotely by Zhang Zifan, Xiefeng. But this is inconsistent with the facts. One of your insiders sent me some photos of your process of rescuing my followers. In one of them, a female Chanyuan Celestial's hands were tied behind her back with a rope, and she was squatting on the ground with a police officer holding a pistol against the back of her head in the same way that Japanese devils shot and killed Chinese compatriots during the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression. Is this what you called rescue? I still have the photo. You posted a few photos of me in the video which we had taken while playing games. You deliberately selected those photos to vilify me and to scare my potential sisters-in-law away. That was unscrupulous of you. The biggest shortcoming of the video upon which you worked so hard is that there were no voices of any Chanyuan Celestials. It is a failure. In fact, the biggest blow to Life Chanuan and Xiefeng should be Chanyuan Celestials exposing my ugly deeds, which would have been much more convincing. It is lacking that you did not do that. Wang Gang, who appears in the video, is the son of Foci Celestial. His performance in the video was simply that of a respectful son. But what is the truth? You should allow his mother Foci to talk about it. Why would an elderly woman in her 80s not be with her son, but with the demon, Xiefeng? People with normal thinking ability will come up with something, right? We have a lot of evidence to prove why the elderly woman would rather die outside than live with her son. Is it evil for Xiefeng's homeland to take in 80-year-olds and allow them to live comfortable lives? I used to think that evil meant not showing filial piety to the elderly, but now it seems that showing filial piety to the elderly is evil. Thank you for showing me the true meaning of evil. Wang Gang said that Xiefeng asked his mother to bring her salary card over and end her relationship with the family. You should show evidence of this occurrence because without any, what you said is just slander. Will people believe it? Saying that your mother took her savings, ran away from home, and that you then lost contact with her is simply one big lie. Does telling such a lie mean that you have forgotten about the time that your wife and you visited Life Chanuan? The video said that I joined traditional Christianity, but have you any evidence of this? Of course not, because you made all this up. You know that I am the messenger of the greatest creator, Jesus Christ, Buddha Shakyamuni, the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, and the incarnation of Celestial Laozi, but you think that this has all been made up by me, right? Is it not strange that one dares to claim himself as such but can still have a clear mind for 20 years? Is it not abnormal? This is not something that anyone can claim for themselves casually. If you do not believe me, you can try doing it yourself. If anyone claims to be such, it would take less than 1 year for them to go insane and die. If you do not believe me, try it yourself. Now suppose, what if Zhang Zifan's claim is true? If so, then your sins are surely not small. You said that our 2 places in Guizhou are secretly established bases under the cover of cooperative, comprehensive development projects. Excuse me, but are we also engaged in any illegal activities or any other than those stipulated in our contract? If so, please provide evidence. You said that the most important of Xiefeng's fallacies is that Chanyuan Celestials must hand in all their property. Please provide evidence of this. In which article did I write this? On what occasion did I say it? Please provide material evidence and testimonies of witnesses. Lu Chong is the husband of Xianin Celestial and appears in the video. You said that Xianin Celestial sold all of her family property behind Lu Chang's back and dedicated all his hundreds of thousands of RMB yuan to Life-Chanuan. But are the facts really as Lu Chang claims? Lu Chang is addicted to gambling. Not only did he gamble away their pig farm, which they had worked so hard to build, but he also lost their house, driving the family into bankruptcy and unable to pay off some usurers from whom he had borrowed money. He hid outside all day, and his wife had no choice but to beg to come to Life-Chanuan home. His wife had not sold their property behind his back and donated hundreds of thousands of RMB yuan to Life-Chanuan because she had nothing and even needed to purchase the train ticket with the pocket money her daughter gave her to travel from her former farm to Life-Chanuan. You have provided false testimony. I wonder if this is a crime in jurisprudence. I guess you need to study the law more seriously. Lu Chang said that he weighed nearly 75 kilograms when he was with his wife, but that his weight had dropped to 45 kilograms after she left. What does this fact show? With his wife supporting him, he was obese, but with his wife no longer taking care of him, he became underweight. Who can afford to support a man like this? You said that Life-Chanuan is an illegal organization. So we asked your public security officer why you felt that way? The officer said that Life-Chanuan was never registered. I ask you, must an organization register in order to be legal? Was the great, glorious, and correct Communist Party of China organization registered with the nationalist government of that time when it ruled China? If not, then according to you, the CPC has always been an illegal organization? Besides, Life-Chanuan is an international family which has been registered with the Canadian government. Can it not be counted as registered? Regarding Xie Feng's pronouncement that family members are enemies, this was a warning from Jesus Christ. Do you dare to say that Jesus Christ was wrong? Leaving home, this is the guidance and example of Buddha Sakyamuni. Do you dare to say Sakyamuni was wrong? You keep saying that Xie Feng's claims are fallacies and heresies. I have 800 values. Do you have enough wisdom and ability to refute any of them? You only need to challenge a few of them. If you cannot refute any of them, then how can it be called a fallacy? In view of this, it is not surprising that you call filial piety evil and the theory of truth fallacious. I will not comment on Li Yutian in the video, but he and his wife divorced voluntarily in 2009. At that time, their 2 children had grown up and his wife had left him without taking a penny from their family. The video said that his wife left him to live in Life-Chanuan community, but the community had not yet existed at the time of their divorce, so it would be nonsense to say that she came to us at that time. His wife's father died 7 years after they divorced, but you said that it happened only a few days after she left? In order to achieve your goals, lies can be made up like this only because the government is in league with liars. Is this what the government does? You also said that his wife's father died from lung cancer because his wife left him. Is there any scientific evidence that this can happen? According to Li Yutian, his wife's departure caused her father to get lung cancer, and he passed away within a few days. I ask, can lung cancer really kill anyone within only a few days of acquiring it? Is it not ridiculous to make lies like this up? Is this how the government collects evidence to prove that Life-Chanuan is evil? In fact, this has nothing to do with Life-Chanuan. The number of divorcees in the world is increasing and many people are not marrying. Are all of these changes caused by Life-Chanuan? Of course not. I advocate that as long as 2 parties are willing to, they can maintain emotional relations for a long time. What is wrong with this in terms of ethics and jurisprudence? Is it not allowed for them to keep long-term emotional relationships if they are consensual? You said that some of our game photos which you showed in your video were described as being intolerable to the eye. Do you really think so? Then how do you feel about the large number of pornographic pictures on the regular internet? You think our homeland life is immoral, right? Your public security officers raided our home at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning many times, forced their way into our rooms, checked in our cabinets and under our beds. Did they ever find a man and a woman sleeping together? Never. Based on your realm, you can never imagine that Chanyuan Celestials like to talk and laugh. But in our home, we mostly like to live quietly and alone. We pursue the joy of non-material souls, not that of flesh. Based on your cognitive abilities, this realm is extremely difficult for you to imagine, and you will not be able to understand it even if you live for 500 years. Peng Jinlai, who is shown in your video, stayed in the Chanyuan home for only 5 or 6 days. During that period, he wanted to be intimate with a female Chanyuan celestial, but she rejected him. For this, he hated the home and left immediately, and he also wanted his wife and daughter to leave with him. In your video, it was reversed. He was falsely accusing the female Chanyuan celestial of seducing him. This man lied at every step. When Peng Jinlai's wife became a Chanyuan celestial, she had difficulty walking because of surgery on her legs. In 2020, she was brought to the new oasis for life of Life Chanyuan to recover because she was unable to walk, and a dedicated specialist had been assigned to take care of her during her recuperation. I ask you, if she had been sent home, would that not have added trouble to Peng Jinlai? Not only did Peng Jinlai not appreciate the Life Chanyuan home, but he spread rumors and framed us. Would you agree that what he did goes against basic human morality? You said that my homeland is a mental cancer that endangers the masses. Please read carefully the Chanyuan Corpus, Xiefeng Corpus, and the 800 values for New Era humans. This huge theoretical system is in line with the teachings of Jesus Christ, Buddha Shakyamuni, Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, Immortal Laozi, the sages of the past, and Marx's theoretical communism. You seem to regard the teachings of gods, Buddhas, and immortals as mental cancers. So what your spiritual medicine might be? You said that through careful investigations, you had found various evidence of violations in the homeland. What are they in accordance with China's constitution and laws? If you cannot show the evidence of our violations to society, have you committed the crime of perjury? You said that all our believers were successfully rescued with no mistakes, but how could there have been no mistakes with nearly 100 people? Did you say that Xiefeng asked the Chanyuan celestials to commit collective suicide? If I live, the home will exist. If the home perishes, I will die? From your video, can you tell any clues of Chanyuan celestials wanting to die by committing suicide? Is there one Chanyuan celestial resisting? Let me tell you that Chanyuan celestials are the most civilized group of well-educated people in the world, and that none of them would do anything extreme. You have suppressed Life Chanyuan for 8 years and destroyed our homes a dozen times. But has even one Chanyuan celestial confronted anyone or done anything extreme? There were no mistakes in your process of smashing us. This was not because of how thorough and detailed your plan was, but because the quality of Chanyuan celestials determined that they would not respond in any uncivilized manner. You said that Chanyuan celestials cannot get prompt medical treatment and that they suffer from diseases in Life Chanyuan. You are really good at fabricating and framing. The home regards every Chanyuan celestial as a family relative. Once anyone feels uncomfortable, we immediately arrange for them to go to a hospital to be examined and treated, and we have never delayed anyone's timely treatment. During any Chanyuan celestial's hospitalization, we provide at least 4 people to take care of them 24 hours each day. Do you not see it or know it? The care that the home delivers to every Chanyuan celestial during their illness cannot be offered by ordinary families or social groups. Would you like to compare theirs against ours? The home's care and education for children are all-encompassing. To know the quality of a fruit tree, just look at it. We have raised more than a dozen children in our home. Why do you not let the kids tell their stories? As for the 13-year-old Zhao Mingming mentioned in your video, he is not running around the yard all day, as you described, and delaying his studies. The child's terminally ill mother arranged for her child to enter our home in order to secure a good future for him. Soon after his entering the homeland, his mother passed away. The homeland took care of all her funeral affairs. When the child's mother was critically ill, we promptly notified the child's grandmother and uncle, who came to inspect how we managed her funeral affairs. As for the child, his grandmother and uncle both agreed that the homeland is good and wanted the child to stay here. We then arranged for the child to go to the local school in time. Is this not true? How can you alter and despise the true facts? Is it not true that the detained child shown in your video was still wearing the uniform of the Hope Primary School in Rongguang Town? Didn't you take the child away from that school? How can you say that we had delayed the child's studies? The alleged pennant sending in the video is very ridiculous. It showed that Su Dong, who was originally from Shaanxi, sent a pennant to the Public Security Organization. The fact is that your officers customized the pennant in advance and then forced Su Dong to take a photo with the pennant. This is how pathetically you make yourselves look good. Just think about it. Relying on your brain capacity, knowledge, and spiritual quotient, is it possible for you to complete the deprogramming of Chanyuan celestials in such a short period of time after my more than 10 years of patient and meticulous brainwashing? Are you qualified? Your so-called transformation is nothing more than threats, intimidation, and coercion, and then through blackening people's names, cutting off people's sources of life, and forcibly taking away their mobile phones, computers, ID cards, and passports for forced conversion. How is this fundamentally different from the ruffians, hooligans, gangsters, and bandits who put knives to people's throats and say, "Call me grandpa or I'll kill you"? Since April 28th, you took away the ID cards, mobile phones, and computers of many Chanyuan celestials. Some of these objects have yet to be returned. Is this how you transformed Chanyuan celestials? You said that the evil homeland created by Zhang Zifan was smashed in one stroke. Your memory is really bad. This is not smashed in one stroke. You started the smashing in one stroke 8 years ago in 2013. You have already smashed in 12 strokes. You gave us real trouble, but it is too early to conclude whether we were destroyed. Boundless grasses across the plain come and go with every season. Wildfires never quite consume them. They are tall once more in the spring wind. If you really have the ability to completely destroy us, then what you have to do is not to drive the Chanyuan celestials from their dens, but you must subvert Xiefeng's entire theory. If you do not destroy my theory, then the home will never be destroyed. Not to say to smash it in one stroke. You cannot destroy it with 1,000 strokes, or even 10,000 strokes. Another way to destroy us is to control all foreign networks and block the 8 public websites of Life Chanyuan, especially social media platforms such as Facebook, Google, and YouTube. Otherwise, who will be destroyed in the end has not yet been settled. After reading the above, are you scared? If you are not scared, then do not delete my article so that the so-called righteous people can see the evil of the Chanyuan home and of Zhang Zifan. But if you do not delete it, will the good people who were deceived by you think you are evil instead? Who knows? Maybe. However, your deletion and blocking can only be limited to your sphere of influence. The world outside your sphere of influence is very vast, and I can continue to publish it in that vast world. Nowadays, there is a popular saying, you will have to pay it back sooner or later. The 12 homes of Life Chanyuan were each smashed in one stroke by you. Sooner or later, this account will be settled. On average, each home is calculated at 10 million RMB yuan, and the 12 homes were worth 120 million RMB yuan, according to the current market value. A murderer must pay with his life, and a debtor must pay his debt. It is an unalterable principle that the debts you owe must be repaid. You are not going to get away with this. Up to the highest height and down to deepest depth, even if you die, Chanyuan celestials will trace you to the end. Before you pay off your debt, your soul will never rest in peace. If you do not believe me, just wait and see. We hope that you will realize your errors, mend your ways, and commit fewer sins. 将中国反邪教网钉上人类文明的耻辱柱. China's anti-cult network is nailed to the pillar of shame of human civilization. Xiefeng, August 18, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Kair. What is China's anti-cult network? I had never heard of them before they vilified the name of the second home of Life Chanyuan as the evil homeland. I know that this group is a malignant tumor that grows on the body of human civilization, and if it is not eliminated, then human civilization will surely die from it. Therefore, starting from today, China's anti-cult network is nailed to the pillar of shame of human civilization. They, who reverse black and white, confuse right and wrong, spread rumors and slander, and fool the people, are a thorough anti-human and anti-civilization gang and an evil organization. As long as they exist, human civilization will suffer. The facts have proven that China's anti-cult network is a thorough cult organization, and what they fight against are just and bright religions. People who believe them should wake up and alert themselves. Anyone who bangs the drum for them is holding the candle for the devil, and their punishment has been scheduled. Therefore, the sooner you renounce this group, the better off you will be. 上帝出手了，一答复一网友. The greatest creator has taken action. My reply to a netizen, Xiefeng, August 18, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. People ask why they suffer from innumerable disasters while the greatest creator does nothing. The simple answer is that he has already done a great deal. In early April of 2009, I posted that the catastrophe of 2012 would not happen but would be replaced by a stepwise, reciprocating, and increasingly serious pattern of natural and man-made disasters. Then, on August 1st of 2017, I once again warned that if mankind does not reevaluate their ways immediately and change their traditional modes of production and life, then not only is the entire natural ecology expected to collapse within 15 to 20 years, but that humanity will be at risk long before then. In order to save mankind, I compiled the 800 values for new era humans and set a new life model for people with the Chanyuan Celestials of Life Chanyuan. All this is equivalent to saying that the ship of life of the greatest creator has arrived and is calling everyone to embark quickly so that they can be kept safe. But how many have boarded this ship? I am telling you plainly that I am the messenger of the greatest creator and that I have come to harvest ripe crops and to create the Life Chanyuan era for mankind. But after more than 10 years of my calling out, how many people have responded? Is this not the action of the greatest creator? If this is not his action, do you want he, himself to come and carry everyone to heaven? Are we worthy of his carrying? When Noah built his ark on the top of Mount Ararat, most people ridiculed and mocked him and took his call as the act of a lunatic. What was the result? People still indulged in dissipation in their own ways. 18 years ago, I called on people through the internet to hurry up and get on board this ship. I have been working hard, following the will of the greatest creator for 18 years, but what has the result been? Not only have very few people responded, but they destroyed the kingdom of the greatest creator, the second home of Life Chanyuan, and called it the evil homeland. I ask you, has the greatest creator taken action? Have people listened? You called me a big liar and accused me of deceiving and cheating people for money and sex, but have I cheated anyone out of their money or tricked anyone into having sex with me over the last 18 years? Which of my thousands of articles is not telling the truth? Do you not believe me? Will you not listen to me? All right then, live by your truth and let us wait for the result. I have warned against plagues, fires, floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, hunger, extreme heat, extreme cold, social unrest, and so on. I have written more than 200 articles in my warning chapter alone. Do you not think so? Let us just wait and see. What happens next will not even leave you a chance to cry. Do not blame the greatest creator for not saving you. If you want to blame someone, then blame yourself for being too foolish, too arrogant, too proud, and too ignorant not to have him in your heart. Do not blame the gods, Buddhas, celestial beings, and saints for not saving you. I am coming to save you by combining the incarnations of the messenger of the greatest creator with all the aforementioned, and my doing so is tantamount to their doing so. You refuse to listen, so why cast blame? When cows enter cowsheds, pigs enter pigpens, the devil collects demon grandchildren, celestials go to a celestial world, they are all just returning home. 中国人急需理解的18个观念 18 values that Chinese people need to understand urgently. Xiefeng, August 18th, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. I am watching China heading toward purgatory, so I am warning everyone of their urgent need to understand the following 18 truths. With your understanding, there may be some room for reversal. Otherwise, there will only be wailing and regrets. It is not that U.S. imperialists want us to die, but that the West never gives up its hope of helping U.S. It is not that mainland China should liberate Taiwan, but that we should hope for Taiwan to liberate the mainland. Mao Zedong's thoughts will bring no happiness to the Chinese people, but only poverty and disasters. Our government is unreliable. The more you rely on it, the more you will suffer. Chinese government officials at all levels are failing to serve the people, but rather are oppressing and exploiting them. Programs are more reliable than moral preaching. We need more program construction and less moral preaching. Confucian culture is the root cause of China's inability to produce Nobel Prize winners. Xiefeng-style communism is the only way for the Chinese nation to achieve happiness. Confrontation with the United States is the path to death. Uniting a centralized country by marriage is the same as prostitution. The stronger the control becomes, the more cunning the people will become. Most common people's crimes are forced upon them by officials. Therefore, the common people are not guilty, but the officials are. All those who praise the heads of government and the ruling party are bastards. A government that does not allow freedom of speech should and must be abandoned. Why would anyone want or need such a government? There is no need for power, but there is for bread and freedom. There is no need for a country, but to live and work in peace and contentment. B. Where there is freedom, there is the best place for peaceful lives. C. Without freedom, you cannot live in peace. So for what do you want or need an unfree country? Small amounts of chicken soup for the soul and religious preaching are supplements, but large amounts of them are toxic and can poison people's minds. Those who are oppressed, bullied, and exploited, but do not resist, are tantamount to pigs or dogs. Therefore, they will only fight back when they are driven beyond the limits of their endurance. 最后时刻的警示. My final warning. Dayform Buddha. September 2021. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Care. I have been preaching to the world for 18 years and have told everyone what to expect and which path they should follow. It is none of my business whether or not you should listen or follow. That is only yours. But as you face difficulties or even death, you cannot blame gods, Buddha, celestials, saints, or especially the greatest creator because the road has been shown to you, and you can only blame yourself if you do not choose to follow it. The great purification is about to begin, so I will give you some warnings now and I hope that they will protect you from disasters. Do not try to escape from predicaments and death because there is nowhere to hide. Just light up the sacred lamp in your heart, let the greatest creator enter your heart, and pray that the greatest creator will ease your pain and keep you safe. Abandon everything. Only embrace the greatest creator and allow him to flow into your blood, shine in your hair, give orders through your consciousness, and guide you when you are confused. Do not spend more time and energy on reading books with words. Read the books without words. Everything and all phenomena are the wars of the greatest creator. Changing phenomena show the greatest creator announcing his will and warnings to you. So please read his books. They have no words in them, only images and phenomena. When deserts flood, tropical lands have snow, cold lands are hot, and black swans arrive in incredible places, you should be aware that the great purification has begun and is underway. When the meteorite that will destroy mankind is spotted and something that you have never seen before appears in the sky, you should understand that the earth has guardian angels and managers who will have exhausted their endurance for humankind's destruction of nature. Their patience will have reached its limit, and they will be ready to act against humanity's evil. Stop worshiping gods, Buddha, celestial beings, saints, and great human leaders, and worship nature. Worship the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, and its mountains, rivers, insects, grass, and trees. Worship all natural things because you will then be worshiping the greatest creator. Stop striving for money and material wealth because neither of them will save you. Even if you have hundreds of millions of dollars of assets, and even if you hide in the safest place, pox will appear spontaneously all over your body, both inside and out, and you will die from unbearable itching. Do not follow and defend power because it is the source of lies and falsehoods. If you follow it, you will be with the devil and end miserably. Do not look for a savior. Do not be deceived by people with apparently great supernatural powers because they are only illusions of the truth. Do not believe and follow any masters, angels, Christ, Buddha, immortals, or other similar figures who claim to be able to save you. They are clay bodhisattvas crossing the river people who cannot protect themselves. Following them will drop you into a pit and you will lose your chance of being saved. Do not listen to the myths of psychics. You do not know with what spirits they communicate, and that is the same as gambling. No secret of talking is good, and all sneaky things are shit, so be careful. Do not follow the masses. That is the road to confusion and enslavement. When all you see is death, you will suffer from extreme fear. So find 3 to 5 confidants in advance with whom to live and eat together and to help each other get through the sea of fear. Even when your hunger becomes intolerable and you are in extreme distress, neither steal nor rob, let alone harm other lives, but maintain the purity of your soul and the light of your life. Desperate trumpets will sound from all directions. It is only by lighting the sacred lamp within your heart and by firmly believing in the greatest creator, cause, and effect, and that you are walking on his way that you will be able to climb through your quagmire of despair. In the past, people could be saved and delivered from torment by showing kindness, compassion, and love. But now, those three attributes can no longer save them. So the program to save nature has started, including those people who should be saved. Let the dead take care of the dead as you look up to the Pure Land. Do not stop your marching feet before you reach the Pure Land. If you die, you must die on your way to the Pure Land.
天下人朝着写风式共产主义道路走。
Walking towards Xiefeng-style communism. Dayform Buddha. January 21, 2022. Xiefeng has paved the way to paradise for humanity, from theory to practice. It is called Xiefeng-style communism. Whether you are a president, a billionaire, a religious leader, a scholar, a professor, a worker, a farmer, a business person, or an entrepreneur, as long as you are a person, please march towards this goal. From the dawn of recorded history, there has never been a better production and life mode than what we have created. No one from a common laborer or lay person to a saint, an immortal, a Buddha, a god, or even the prophetic sage of China Ziwei, will ever be able to create a better production and life mode than ours. No matter how the American-dominated Western countries strive to perfect their democratic, social mechanisms, or how hard China tries to improve its, neither will ever be able to achieve as highly civilized a production and life mode as we have. Nor can the people of Latin America, Africa, or Oceania create a more ideal society than what we have accomplished. To all the people who have great ideas, please stop seeking and discussing how to create a better future for humankind. Xiefeng has planned and arranged everything. No matter how intelligent you might be, you are like the mythical blind people touching the various parts of an elephant. All of your theories, no matter how superb and correct you feel they might be, are like balloons full of pinholes next to ours. So please stop wasting your time and energy and put all your wisdom and talents into what we have developed and perfected. To all the people who are suffering and struggling, Xiefeng-style communism is the best way out for you, your children, and your grandchildren. Walk towards Xiefeng-style communism with a grateful heart and do not hesitate or look away. Dayform Buddha does not lie to you. To give everyone this warning is to save you and guide you toward a heavenly life. If you comply and follow it, then you will be blessed. But if you do not, then not only will poverty, ignorance, trouble, pain, and fear haunt you forever, but so will death. Do you not believe this? Let the facts answer for you. Whether people walk on the path to Xiefeng-style communism or not, society's future production and life mode will be Xiefeng-style communism, and there will never be a second version. So the earlier that you follow this path, the happier you will be. Do not wait until it is too late.
傲慢狂妄霸道独裁的写封告示。
Notice from the arrogant, proud, bossy, and autocratic Xiefeng. Dayform Buddha. September 21st, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. I have made a lot of friends on the web recently. To avoid consuming too much of each other's time and energy, I am hereby announcing the following. I am Dayform Buddha. There are only two ways to react when you meet me. You can either follow me step by step, or if you think that you are wiser, you can follow the way that you think is right, and there will be no need to get acquainted with and make friends with me. I like dictatorships. You either surrender to me or follow your own path because I will never cooperate with or discuss nonsense with any of you. I believe that anyone who thinks that their cognitive abilities exceed those of Xiefeng and wants to direct him is ignorant. For thousands of years, apart from Jesus Christ, Buddha Shakyamuni, Celestial Laozi, and Prophet Muhammad, PPUH, no one in this world's cognitive ability has surpassed mine, Dayform Buddha, Xiefeng. Many of today's masters are only worthy of carrying my shoes. People like Osho, Krishnamurti, and Neil Donald Walsh, author of Dialogue with God, are probably worthy of serving my tea. I despise people who call themselves heavenly masters on the internet, even if they offer to wipe my ass. To my eyes, People are very different, and I can see them as clearly as they see pigs. I can distinguish who is fat from who is thin at a glance. In recent years, many enlightened masters and superiors have come and gone like mushrooms after rain falls. They teach scriptures everywhere. To tell you the truth, they are like farts in my nose. They are ignorant of time and space, know nothing about the essence of life, are mysterious and spooky all day, deceive the public, fool the people, and kill for money. Due to their limited cranial capacity, they think that they are masters of Taoism because they bamboozled a few fools. Some have even posed in front of me. It was so shameless because they never understood the immensity of heaven and earth. Shameless as they are, they might as well have hit a blank wall. Some want me to accept everyone. Bullshit. I am not a trash can. Why should I accept everyone? Some want me to unite all those who can be united. Bullshit. I am not a politician. So why should I want to unite so many people? To seek power, usurp the throne, and become president? Do you think that Xiefeng wants to become president? Do you think that a deer wants to be a pig leader, to reign over a group of pigs in a pigpen? Someone suggested that I learn from the spirit of the sea, asking, how did the great rivers and seas become the lords of the ravines? By being good at keeping low. Nonsense. I am the snow-covered peak who saw Mount Everest being good at keeping low? What about being good at keeping high? Many people have never even stepped out of their country, yet they ridicule foreigners' messages all day. They are like pigs in pigsties mocking lions and tigers outside. Extremely foolish. Chinese people have generally received neither the knowledge of the greatest creator nor that of being human, but they are daring to educate and guide others brazenly. They are benighted, ignorant bastards who pretend to be saints worthy of teaching others, but they are nothing but thick skins. People generally lack education and politeness, let alone other aspects. They add me on social media, but never like my posted contents. Are they educated and polite? Giving likes is not for the content, but just good etiquette to show respect for others and their good upbringing and self-cultivation. When they cannot even give likes, then they are lazier than pigs. What else can they do? Since they cannot give likes, why do they add me to their contacts? If they do not give likes but add many names to their contacts, then how are they different from thieves? Why are those who post advertisements with small images everywhere so idle? Either they are bored or they have no brains. But they have to understand that when they share piles of rubbish, it is a deprivation of other people's time and energy, disrespect for others, and a rape of other people's consciousnesses. So I have quit most of these groups. Many groups do not even share central themes, but are just big garbage dumps. For the laboring masses, for the hardworking and plain, honest people, there is only one bright way out. That is Xiefeng-style communism. All other roads are dead ends that lead to misery and abysses. Do not engage in those spiritual practices all day long, or those enlightenments, or in loving yourself, or upholding dharma, or being open to medians, or untying some made-up seal. Those are all tricks of self-deception designed to deceive honest people. On the other hand, if you feel happy and like having fun, just follow your innermost driving force.
雪峰狂傲的资格和本钱
Xiefeng's pride of qualifications and capital. Xiefeng, September 21st, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. To be proud, one must have qualifications and capital, otherwise they are either neurotic or at least in some way, mentally ill. Xiefeng's pride of qualifications and capital are as follows. I have analyzed the three elements that make up the universe and unified Buddhism with science organically for the first time. These three elements are the universal unified field theory that scientists have been seeking diligently to obtain. This is something that can never be achieved by human thinking and wisdom. It is okay if you do not understand the mystery, but do not make noise, because I would never expect a donkey to understand it, but braying is very annoying. I have written nearly 110,000 characters to show people the birth process of the greatest creator, his characteristics, and his relationship to humankind, which provides a basis for us to understand him correctly. This is an unprecedented pioneering work. I have analyzed the principles and essence of life. This has never been done before and can never be done again. No one can surpass this analysis. If anyone thinks that they are better than me, just try to reanalyze it. I have created a new mode of production and life that has never been seen before in history. Xiefeng-style communism, the mode of production and life for the future. I have analyzed the nature of marriages and families. Although many people have studied them throughout history, their analyses cannot be compared to mine. I have interpreted the 8 forces of the universe for the first time. Scientists currently only recognize 4 of them. I have divided people into 5 categories according to their characteristics for the first time. Ignorant ones, lay people, mortals, sages, and celestials. These classifications make sense. Whoever wants to surpass me is invited to give it a try. I have described to people the 8 levels of thinking based on the characteristics of life for the first time, and have given detailed explanations. I have, for the first time in human history, guided nearly 80 people to become celestials, opening a path to celestial life for future generations. I have analyzed 20 parallel worlds and 36 dimensional spaces. There are many more qualifications and capitals worthy of my pride, but I will not describe them one by one over here. The above 10 are enough to make me proud, and anyone who is not convinced is invited to post their abilities online. I am really this proud, and in a few decades, humans will send me, Xiefeng, to the temple of God.
你所执着的将会成为你升华的障碍。
That which you cling to will become the obstacle to your sublimation. Xiefeng, September 24, 2020. Translated by Kayer and edited by Kayer. If you walk unswervingly toward a great and bright goal, you will find that fewer and fewer people will remain with you. At first, there will be many people, but as you walk, they will thin out. Why does this happen? The reason is that they are blocked by stubbornness and become unable to continue. As long as you stay where you are, people will remain with you. But once you make a breakthrough, some people will part ways with you. To move toward a great goal, it is necessary to constantly break through your original cycles, your original concepts and cognitions, and your original values, ethics, outlooks on life, and worldviews. As you continue making breakthroughs, more people will part ways with you, so you will become more and more alone. And finally, even those who quarreled with you and scolded you will have disappeared. To change from one form to another, a person must break through their original self, their inherent cognition and thinking logic, which is like pupae metamorphosing into butterflies. Without breaking through their original cocoon of protection, no one can transform into a dancing butterfly. When a life thinks that it is right, then its transformation stops and can no longer sublimate. If it is a pig now, then it will always remain one and will never have any hope of becoming a person. Breakthroughs and transcendences are not only cognitive leaps, but also qualitative mutations. They are smelting rebirths, resurrections. They are processes of joy, also with pain, like thunderstorms and lightning, which are unbearable to the vast majority of people because inertia always pulls people back to their original positions. I have had classmates in all my levels of education as well as colleagues with whom I worked as playmates, friends, and lovers who now have almost all disappeared. Not because they have died, but because we no longer share anything in common and have no desire to get together. What interests them bores me, and what interests me bores them. So we drifted apart and disappeared over each other's event horizons. I have met many people online. At first, our friendships were as sweet as honey, but as we walked on, the tastes of our friendships changed from sweet to waxy. Then their images became more and more vague until they gradually disappeared from the screen of my memory. When people standing on the tops of mountains and people standing at the feet of mountains look at each other, they each feel that the others look very small. People who eat Manchu Han imperial banquets feel sorry for those who eat wild fruits in the forest, who in turn feel sad for those who eat Manchu Han imperial banquets. Different realms and different cognitive abilities create different feelings. The boy of Wu Zhuangguan, name of a Taoist temple, sent the Tang monk a first-class immortal genuine ginseng fruit with the shape of a baby, but the Tang monk not only refused to accept it, but also complained that the boy had tainted his compassion and Buddha heart by feeding him the baby. This scene was very ridiculous. Sometimes, from a word, a post, a look in a person's eyes, or an expression, one can know what another person is thinking, what they want to do, and what the result will be. No matter how one pretends or how they whitewash their thoughts and feelings, they cannot hide the state of their mind or the level of their soul. Sometimes, to know and understand a person, you do not need to listen to what they say or see what they do, because you can know their inner world from only the content that they post. Flies post shit, bees post honey. Who are the poor people? Those who cannot read this article, and those who do not give likes after reading it. The gate of heaven is always open for you. Can you not find it? Do you know why you cannot find it? Because the things that you cling to are obstructing your spiritual eyes, what you value, what you pursue, what you insist on, and what you maintain, just like high walls blocking your path, preventing you from getting out of the cave of the silken web. Are you complacent about your achievements and greatness? Please note that when flies find fresh shit, they feel as good as you do. 陨石被摧毁与生命缠怨的关系. The relationship between the destruction of the meteorite and Life-Chanyan. Xiefeng. October 6, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. On February 15, 2013 at 9:23 a.m., a meteorite with a diameter of about 17 meters and a weight of about 7,000 tons fell towards Russia's Chelyabinsk Oblast at a speed of Mach 54. At a distance of 24 kilometers above the ground, it was caught and violently smashed into and destroyed by a mysterious object at a speed exceeding that of the meteorite. If this meteorite had not been destroyed, the consequences would have been serious. According to scientists' calculations, the impact of the meteorite's explosion on the Earth would have been equivalent to 30 atomic bombs. Even more terrifying is that 100 kilometers from the place where the meteorite fell are Russia's Mayak nuclear fuel plants. Once the meteorite had hit the ground directly, it would have instantly destroyed all of Asia and perhaps even the world. Who made the mysterious object that crashed into the meteorite? Was it a missile made in Russia? No. The fastest missile in the world only has a speed of Mach 20, while the meteorite flew at Mach 54. No missile could have intersected that meteorite. So, who did it? Was it the military? Are you kidding me? Humans do not have that technology yet. I clearly stated in the Chanyuan Corpus, before this meteorite was crushed, that the Earth is protected by super celestial beings. These powers who protect the Earth are in underwater pyramids beneath the Bermuda Triangle. There is a huge space beneath those pyramids which are as big as a medium-sized city. They observe and protect the Earth at all times and occasionally remotely control UFOs inside the moon to patrol the Earth, and they keep abreast of the dynamics of the Earth. Crop circles are information symbols that they record. The above-mentioned meteorite being crushed was done by the super celestial beings who protect the Earth. Do you still remember the strange car accident that happened to me? Do you remember the panic before 2012? I told you in early April 2009 that due to leaks, the catastrophe that people expected to occur in December 2012 would not occur, but instead would occur in reciprocating, circular, and increasingly serious ways until the Great Purification comes. Have the changes that have taken place on the Earth in the past 11 years not completely met my prediction? Do you know of Boriska, the Russian Martian? As soon as Life-Chanyan emerged, he came out within a week to support us, which prompted Shinha Celestial to write the prologue to Life-Chanyan. Soon after that, Boriska informed everyone that the great spiritual guide of mankind had been born in northwestern China. Do you not think that was too coincidental? Does anyone not think that this is a deliberate arrangement? Who else does not believe in Life-Chanyan? Many mysteries I cannot say, nor am I allowed to say, but I can tell you that the future era will be the era of Life-Chanyan, and that the future human production and life mode will be the new oasis for life mode created by Life-Chanyan. The dark forces have tried their best to obstruct this and they wanted to destroy it, but I can tell everyone that this cannot be done. And in the following 20 to 30 years, mankind will surely send Xiefeng to the altar. By the way, I want to warn all who engage in mysterious, spooky, furtive, and sneaky affairs that the universe knows what you are doing. In the future, everything will be done in the open. Stop it now, or you will regret it later. Everyone, hurry and infuse Life-Chanyan's values into your minds. Make haste to understand the new oasis for life mode. Hurry up to purify your hearts, and you may have a glimmer of life.
账总是要算的写在大灾变前夕.
The day of reckoning will come. Writings on the eve of the cataclysm. Xiefeng. November 27, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. The sum of positive and negative energy in the universe is always zero. What you get and what you pay must be calculated. If you get more but pay less, then it is time to pay some back. If you cannot pay it back, then your life will be taken from you, and you will have to pay with it. Do not have a fluky mind. No one can run away. Wearing a mask is useless. Wearing armor is useless, and hiding below the ground is useless. Where there is air, there is balance, and where the sun shines, there are courts. Do not look everywhere for a savior. No savior can protect you. Only you can save yourself. Pick up a calculator to figure your own income and expenditure account and see if you are receiving more or paying more. If you are receiving more, then you need to spit it out. If you are paying more, do not worry, for your reward will come. The calculation is easy. Nature knows what you have gained from it and what you have done for it, and will forget neither. What you have gained from human society and what you have done for human society is clearly recorded in the detention information space. Your subconscious is clear of what you have gained from others and what you have done for others. Maybe no one else knows what you have done, but heaven, earth, God, and you all know it. Heaven has eyes, earth has eyes, and there are eyes throughout the universe. Nothing is concealable, including what you reflect and think in your heart. Remember, you cannot even hide what you think. If you say more and do less, even if what you say is true, you are just making a living with the truth. If more people are making a living with the truth, then ordinary people's lives will be even more difficult. The lives of ordinary people become more difficult, and those who talk a lot should take responsibility. Once a person opens their mouth, you will know what they are thinking about and what they are planning, and even if they speak nicely or even beautifully, their true intentions will not be concealed. People can say very beautiful things, and they can say a lot of things that reveal the truth, but if they cannot do them, then they are deceiving the world, stealing glory, and lying. There are two reasons for the occurrences of cataclysms. The first is that the plot of the program written into the story says that it is time to settle the accounts, and the second is the hope of the people. Those who suffer have long been looking forward to the occurrence and arrival of the cataclysm because only it can get them out of their predicaments. 3 factors can alleviate this cataclysm. Elderly people must be allowed to spend their old age happily. Nature must be restored to its original purity, and the weather will be made favorable. Honest people should live and work in peace and contentment without being bullied and oppressed. You should rack your brains hard and forget about everything else. Because the Ziwei Saint, the second coming of Jesus, Maitreya Buddha descending into the world, and the appearance of the saint will do the 3 things above. First, if you concentrate hard, then the frequency of your consciousness will be the same as the above individuals, and you will be saved. The source of the suffering of the poor and the way to their liberation. Xiefeng, February 5, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. I am a poor man, so I know the source of poor people's suffering. Let us not talk about individual people's specific internal factors, but only their external factors. There are 3 main external factors that cause them to suffer. The first is harsh governance. The second is natural disasters including diseases, and the third is mutual tormenting among the poor. Among the 3 factors above, mutual torturing among the poor is the main one. Or it can be said that at least 3/4 of their suffering comes from their mutual tormenting of each other. Who are the poor? Farmers, workers, peddlers, wage earners, migrant workers, public service personnel, cleaners, urban management officers, security guards, police officers, soldiers, teachers, and civil servants all fit the bill. It can also be said that except for very wealthy officials and intelligentsia from all walks of life along with scholars and celebrities, most others qualify. Mutual bullying of the poor is common throughout Chinese society. The poorer they are, the harder they bully each other, and the closer they are to the bottom of the social totem pole, the more cruelly they bully each other. Here are 8 examples. Urban management officers bullying peddlers. Police, even traffic police, setting obstacles. Security guards beating others. Thieves stealing the property of the poor. Civil servants are jealous of and suppress each other. Teachers lecturing and threatening their students' parents. Civil servants making things difficult for others. Soldiers killing other conscripted soldiers. Between relatives and friends, classmates and colleagues, neighbors, villages, locals, and outsiders, the mutual torturing and bullying of these poor people are even more untold. The poor should pity and support each other as fellow sufferers, but the fact is that the poor are even crueler when they bully each other, and as long as their income and social status is just a little bit higher, and they have just a little bit more power than others, they will be cruel and merciless to those who are lower than them. They have no compassion at all and even less pity. For example, urban management officers who were originally weak and poor but then got a little bit of power bully peddlers mercilessly and even knock the elderly to the ground. How can this be? If the poor did not bully and torment each other, then no matter how severe the natural disasters and harsh governments became, they would not be able to make the poor feel desperate. If the poor did not bully the poor, then the world would become a paradise. How do we stop the poor from bullying the poor? Preaching is not very effective. Our ancestors preached that people must understand benevolence, justice, etiquette, wisdom, and trust, and they must care for each other and live harmoniously. Various religions teach people to self-discipline, fulfill their rights, be loving and conscientious, and not hurt each other. But what actually happens? For thousands of years, bullying between the poor and the poor has never ceased or even decreased, and endless incidents of the poor bullying the poor every day abound. So what is the problem? The problem lies in private ownership and in marriages and families. Everyone understands the truth, but the reality is that persecution is more severe than the truth. In the face of money and vital interests, moral preaching loses out overwhelmingly. Most choose interests over morals and conscience, and therefore it is only by dispelling people's anxieties and fears about food, clothing, shelter, birth, old age, safety, sickness, and death that bullying among the poor can be turned around. It would be absolutely impossible for any single teenager or young adult to not long for intimacy with someone of the opposite sex. The best cure for their lovesickness would be to provide them with accessibility. If you prevent them from connecting with someone for the affection that they require, but instead instill moral consciences into them and teach them about Buddhism and saints, it would be like seeking fish from trees. So, how do we eradicate the phenomenon of the poor bullying each other? Let them all enter into a communist society. There, this phenomenon would disappear. When people think of communism, they do so instinctively as either an impossible, utopian fantasy, or they denounce it as an evil spirit aligned with the devil. Today, few people on a global scale believe in communism because of all the slandering against it. Even very few of the so-called communists who swear to fight for it actually believe in it. They consider it to be just a slogan, a pretext, or an unrealistic ideal. They take an oath, but they have no intention in their own hearts of fighting for it. In China, suppressing our communist community, the new oasis for life created by Life Genuine, is the most obvious example. Is it not ironic that the Communist Party suppresses our communist community? True communism is not an unattainable ideal because it was realized in China long ago and has been in operation for 11 years. It is the new oasis for life, where everyone is poor, but the phenomenon of poor people bullying other poor people has disappeared because they are also wealthy beyond their dreams, and the more honest, sincere, and diligent the people are, the more they are respected and cared for, because everyone's food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, old age, sickness, and death concerns have been eliminated. So, why should anyone bully anyone else? They do not. In the new oasis for life, boys grow into responsible, masculine, and modest gentlemen, and girls develop into caring and tender gentlewomen. Children grow up happily, and the elderly enjoy their twilight years. It is thoroughly beautiful. My conclusion is that if the poor want to end their suffering and the tragedy of the poor bullying each other, then there is only one way to go, and that is to join our pure, communist society. 穷苦人的路, The Way of the Poor. Xiefeng. February 6, 2021. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Care. I grew up in a poor family, so I am deeply aware of the sadness and helplessness of the poor. Now, I am over 60 years old and have gone through vicissitudes and hardships, so I have gathered some background perception and I am speaking out for the poor to think about them and as a reference. Let me first define what being poor is. Anyone who is accompanied by troubles, pain, anxiety, sorrow, or fear is poor. They can also be defined thusly: anyone who suffers for food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, old age, sickness, death, or security without enjoying a happy, joyous, free, and blessed life is poor. It can also be said that anyone who is not free in body and mind is poor. Because I have walked out of the quagmire of poverty and am no longer a poor person, my knowledge may be of reference value to you. There are only 4 words that you must learn in order to escape from poverty. They are theory, skills, simplicity, and diligence. Learning theory means to learn theoretical knowledge, truth, human science, natural science, and logical thinking. Learning skills means learning survival techniques. It will not work if you know nothing. You should have at least one technique which you can rely on to support your family and yourself. Learning simplicity means being down to earth, not showing off, not being extravagant, not pretending to be wealthy, not pursuing goals that your energy and ability cannot reach to satisfy your vanity, not being overly ambitious, not trying to be outstanding, not wanting to be the best among people, not misbehaving, and not wanting to get rich overnight, let alone making a blockbuster killing. Learning diligence means to keep learning, keep doing things, not sleeping late, not hanging out, not playing games online, not coveting for ease, not swiping your screen all day while playing on your mobile phones, and not obsessing over TV dramas. The poor must guard against these following 8 traps. Anything that allows you to get rich quickly or get something for nothing. Anything called for by officials, the wealthy, or celebrities. Anything that charges you money to teach you to become a Buddha, a celestial being, or a saint. Anything that allows you to take advantage of others. Anything that is mysterious or spooky. Anything that is sneaky or furtive. Any teaching of gong or magical arts other than productive skills. 99% of those who preach to you in the name of the greatest creator, God, Buddha, celestial beings, and saints. There are 9 more insights for you to think about. From Buddhism, read only the Diamond Sutra. Do not learn from, listen to, or read anything else. From Christendom, read only the 4 major Gospels. Do not learn from, listen to, or read any of the others. From Taoism, read only the Tao Te Ching. Do not learn from, listen to, or read anything else. From traditional knowledge, learn from the familial precepts of Master Zhu and Zhenguang Xianwen and read Hong Yingming's Kejianten. For other Confucian schools, such as disciple rules and so on, do not learn from, listen to, or read them, because the more that you do, the more trapped you will become in their circle of poverty. Rather than listening to people's moral preachings, it is better to read respected scientific articles quietly. Rather than listening to intellectual snobs talking, it is better to study what they have done and what they are doing. Do not place your hopes on any savior. The second coming Jesus, the Chakravartin king, Maitreya Buddha, or the coming of the Ziwei saint. Do not risk your good life on the appearance of any seemingly wise moral leader. Your happiness and future depend upon yourself. Do not expect anyone else to save you. It is good if others do not cheat you, but only your good character and good deeds can save you. Do not look for ways to solve new, current problems from traditions. Those who have played chess or mahjong know that every game is different and that there are no fixed rules. The results of reviving traditional cultures can only lead to rigid thinking. There are 8 more considerations for reference. Never indulge in recreational drugs. Never participate in gambling. Never invest in stocks or participate in so-called financial investments. Never despise your parents, children, husband or wife, or brothers and sisters. Never participate in fighting gangs. Never join any organizations. Neither a borrower nor a lender be William Shakespeare. Do not hurt others or violate the laws of your country. The above are just a little bit of my understanding and experiences after I, an ordinary poor person, have risen from poverty to freedom. They are very simple and only serve as lessons and references. You need not argue with me. If you believe what I said, then refer to it. If you do not, then do what you think is right. I have an even higher path for any poor people who believe that what I have written above makes sense.
中国人当明白的一个浅显道理。
A simple truth that the Chinese should understand. Life Chuanyuan Xiefeng. October 26, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. The simple truth to understand is that the United States is not China's enemy, but China's benefactor. Did China defeat the Japanese invaders? No. If the United States had not dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, and if the United States had not dispatched 50,000 sorties of bombers to almost totally destroy 98 cities in Japan, killing and injuring more than 800,000 Japanese, Japan would not have surrendered unconditionally. China might have been occupied by Japan for a long time, and the Chinese would have long since become slaves of their subjugation. To say that China defeated the Japanese aggressors is just the obsession of the Chinese people. This is the case. Don't we think that the United States is China's benefactor? Do not think that the Japanese cannot occupy China. Back then, the northern nomads defeated China, which surpassed them numerically dozens of times, with a small number of troops. There are many examples of China being defeated. In the Yuan and Qing dynasties, the Chinese were almost all controlled by the northern minorities. Do not be mad when you are mentioned as slaves. Today, to the descendants of Qi, Chu, Yin, Han, Zhao, Wei, and Xixia, where's your country now? Aren't all of you just subjugated slaves who feel very proud? Speaking of slaves and subjugation, I will ask the common people in the world, are you willing to be conquered by a civilization? Or is it better to be ruled by tyrants big and small? For example, in today's Afghanistan, for ordinary people, is it better to become a slave in subjugation managed by the United States or ruled by the native Taliban? People all over the world should remember that when your country is conquered, it is just a change of the people who rule you, and the sun and the moon are still shining on you, and the green mountains are still there. For the common people, whoever allows you to live a joyous, happy, free, and blessed life in peace and contentment is your savior. Whoever does not let you live and work in peace and contentment, and does not let you live a joyous, happy, free, and blessed life is a bastard. Think about who brought the medical institutions that are in China today, and who created modern hospitals for China. To tell everyone, they are Americans. Isn't the United States China's benefactor? Think about the school education enjoyed by the descendants of the Chinese people today. Who created this civilized and modern school system in China? It's the Americans. Isn't the United States China's benefactor? Look at the many outstanding talents in modern and contemporary China. Most of them were cultivated by the United States. Even today, the United States is still cultivating tens of millions of talents for China. Is the United States not China's benefactor? Chinese people should not requite kindness with enmity, be ungrateful, or they will be punished by heaven. To say that the United States will never give up their ambition of conquering US is to call white black. Did the United States come to China killing and setting fire? Has the US occupied an inch of China's land? It is said that the United States having the trade war with China is a power hegemony. I want to ask, cars from the United States are imposed a 40% tariff by China, and the United States will impose a 27.5% tariff on cars from China. Now the Americans are demanding that China impose the same tariff rate as the United States. Is this too much to ask? When you come to my house, I only charge you 5 yuan for tickets. When I go to your house, you charge me 8 yuan for tickets. Now I ask you to either waive tickets for everyone, or to charge the same amount for tickets. Is this request unreasonable? They just put forward a fair request, and we think they are bullying us. Who is bullying whom, and who is deceiving whom? By the way, let's talk about a few phenomena. China's elites have transferred most of their property and children to the United States. Why? Because property in China is not protected, they must transfer it. Most of the students from Peking University and Tsinghua University who went to the United States stayed in the United States and did not want to return to China. Why? Because they cannot use their talents when they come back to China. Not only will they not be able to use what they have learned, but if they do not get it right, they will be criticized and punished without the hope of a bright future. Why would they want to come back? Many high-ranking officials and celebrities in China have become foreign nationals. Why? Because the safety of life in China is not guaranteed. There are countless people in the world who run to the United States even if they go to great lengths to do this. Why? Because that's where people yearn to be. There are many people who criticize the United States. Who are they? Answer: they are all poor and stupid men and women. They are liars who scold the United States superficially, but sneak into the United States illegally. Open your eyes and look at the changes in the world over the past century. Anyone who follows the United States has become a developed country, and the people live a happy life. Anyone who opposes the United States is declining and heading for a dead end.
人类的哪些行为违背了自然之道？
What human actions go against the way of nature? Xiefeng, November 27, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Any civilization, if it goes against the way of nature, has only one ending: extinction. Atlantis civilization, Jindaya civilization, Mayan civilization, Mu continent civilization, Lemuria civilization, ancient Lulan civilization, Anasazi civilization, Tiwanaku civilization, Akkadian civilization, Roman Empire, the Harappan civilization, the Khmer Empire, the Olmec civilization, the Kingdom of Aksum, the Nabatean civilization, the Cahokia, the Mycenaean civilization, the Machi civilization, the Clovis civilization, and other civilizations have all died out. The reasons for their demise can be said to be climate change, internal wars, raging plagues, invasion of foreign enemies, great changes in the Earth's crust, etc., but the ultimate reason is that they go against the way of nature. So, what are the actions of human beings that go against the way of nature? The way of nature is the way of the greatest creator, that is, the greatest creator's original intention to create the universe, the earth, life, and human beings, just as man making a dining table. The original intention of man making a dining table was to let the table bear the food, but now the table is unwilling to bear the food, but to assume the function of a desk, or even to assume the function of a bed. In this way, the dining table goes against the original intention of the creator, and the creator has to destroy it and recreate a dining table that is willing to bear the food. The actions of man going against the way of nature are as follows: creating countries, invention of currency, formulating a charter and constitution and various other rules and regulations, idol worship, pursuit of supernatural powers and longevity, revealing the secret of life codes such as biological genetic engineering, building megacities, developing killing weapons, presence of a military, manufacture of pesticides and fertilizers, monogamy and family tribes, creation of religious organizations and political parties, private ownership, building dams and reservoirs and diverting rivers artificially, digging up mountains, filling lakes, transforming wetlands, destroying grasslands and forests, long-distance transportation of fruits, vegetables, and meat, the entire financial system, centralization of power and totalitarian systems. The above 18 kinds of behaviors are contrary to the way of nature. When such behaviors are flourishing, human beings are not far from extinction. To explain in detail the unnatural way of each such behavior, I need to write 18 articles. First, I will give you a warning and a thought. If you want to fully understand the truth, you need a frame of reference. This frame of reference is the 1,000-year world of the kingdom of heaven. If you compare these actions with the 1,000-year world of the kingdom of heaven one by one, it is not difficult to understand the violation of the natural way of these 18 behaviors.
夫妻老死也不会放过对方。
Spouses will rarely release their partners until their deaths. Xiefeng, Mach 22, 2017. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. The most difficult relationship in the world is the relationship between husband and wife. Father, son, mother, and daughter can stay away from each other, brothers and sisters can be separated, relatives and friends can be anywhere, but the relationship between husband and wife is like glue and it can never be separated. The harmonious relationship, with the couple staying together for 100 years, only exists in literary novels. In reality, there are no couples who respect each other when they are living together. Many of the loving couples seen by outsiders are actually like dumb people taking a dose of bitter medicine. It is hard to tell how much they are suffering. The more of a celebrity someone is, the more they have suffered in the relationship between husband and wife. The emperor, the president, the premier, the provincial governor, the professor, the expert, the master, the teacher, all those and more who have a bit of prestige and are respected by the people around them and regarded as models by other people, regarded by society as a moral model, the more they have suffered in the relationship between husband and wife. The honeymoon time of a husband and wife lasts only 3 to 5 years. After 3 to 5 years, It is basically mutual torture and torment, not physical abuse, but mental and spiritual torture. In the animal world, the strong torture and abuse the weak. In the world of husband and wife, it is more likely for the weak to torture and abuse the strong, because in human society, public opinion always sympathizes with and supports the weak, no matter how unreasonable and uneducable the weak one is. Husbands and wives abuse and torture each other by limiting each other's freedom to the greatest extent. This restriction on freedom is intensified with age. The older the person, the stronger the restriction. Do not think that their restrictions will relax when their temples become white and they have more wrinkles on their faces. You might think that they will somewhat loosen the restriction when they can barely walk. No, the restriction on freedom is unrelenting until one is placed in a coffin. There are various ways in which husbands and wives abuse and torture each other. Bickering, fighting, and smashing pots and pans are the least serious ways. Competing and not cooperating with each other is worse. Threatening death is the worst, and emotional abuse is the most terrifying. This kind of relationship between husband and wife is probably a trap set by the devil. Once caught by the trap of being husband and wife, people will fall into the boundless sea of bitterness and will never reach the ideal shore even till one's dying day. Whenever I see men and women happily entering the palace of marriage hand in hand, I feel so sad and pitiful because some more people are voluntarily jumping into the sea of bitterness. The husband and wife will not let each other go even when they die. If you do not believe me, you can spend your whole life trying it out. 从众易犯规. Follow the crowd, and you will be prone to break the rules. Xiefeng, November 3, 2018. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Everyone is like this, and so am I. This is a kind of vile psychology. If this psychology is put into practice, it will create unseen dangers for oneself, and one will be punished by it. Although in human society, the law does not blame the public, the mechanism of cause and effect, rewards and punishments of the Tao has always been divine punishments, though slow, are always sure. Therefore, we must guard our words and deeds against following the crowd. On the morning of October 30, 2018, on my way driving back from Vancouver to the Canadian branch of the new Oasis for Life of Life-Echanuan, I was stopped by a police officer near a school in Coquitlam. The police asked me, "What is the speed limit here?" I replied, 30 kilometers. The police showed me the number on the speedometer. It read 46. The police told me, "You will receive a fine of $198. A just punishment. I am willing to be punished, because this punishment has corrected my consistent crowd mentality and behavior. I have traveled here more than a dozen times, and each time the speed of the vehicles in front of me and behind me is between 40 and 50. If I drive slowly, the vehicles behind me are following closely, and it is tantamount to urging me to drive faster. And seeing everyone driving faster than the specified speed, I am used to thinking it was normal for the speed to be between 40 and 50. Unexpectedly, in the eyes of the police, I made a mistake and must be punished. Knowing that it is incorrect behavior, but seeing everyone else doing this, I did the same. This is the herd mentality. Everything in the universe has been limited by norms, whether it is written or by convention, whether it is a heavenly rule or a moral ethic. Things will always be restricted to a certain range, and there will always be certain standards for everything and every phenomenon to abide by. Lawlessness is definitely not allowed. We need to abide by the standards endowed by heaven and the laws of the world. However, because of the herd mentality, we give up the civilized requirements of observing the rules of heaven and the laws of the world. Even if we know that our behavior is wrong, we follow in the footsteps of the masses without restraint, just because everyone else is doing this. Thus, when we put our lives in the miserable, endless reincarnation of life, it is hard to return to our hometown of heaven. Life is divided into different levels. Different lives live under different laws. Insects, plants, animals, domestic animals, and people are different forms of lives, and their laws are also different. Humans should obey the laws of civilization. When we violate the laws of civilization and imitate the laws of behavior of the animal kingdom, we classify ourselves as animals. From this, it can be clearly deduced that the consequences of imitating animal behavior are that people must taste the bitterness of animals. The herd mentality and behavior are mostly the imitating of the laws of animals. A few dogs are chasing and biting a person. When other dogs see it, they will catch up to them and bite the person regardless of whether they are right or not. Similarly, if people do not ask the reasons for everything and do not analyze whether it is right or wrong, and their psychology and behavior are influenced by the words and deeds of the masses, there is no doubt that their psychology and behavior are not fundamentally different from those of animals. From this, we can see that the words and deeds of the herd mentality belong to the characteristics of lower-level life. Once a person follows the crowd, his life will continue to move towards the lower world. I remember that in 2006, there was a looting incident in the Chitungwais area of Zimbabwe, where a local supermarket called OK was looted. Most of the people who participated in the looting were very honest and dutiful at ordinary times, but they were involved in the looting because they saw that other people were doing this. I had a local shop there, and I was nearby at that time and witnessed the looting process. I was shocked by the crowd behavior and felt how terrible people's herd behavior is. In fact, herd behavior occurs frequently. The wave after wave of mass behavior in China are typical herd behaviors. Buying a car, buying a house, buying stocks, buying healthcare products, etc., all of which are the responses of the herd mentality. Judge-style, revolutionary-style posts are all acts of herd behaviors, and even the corruption of many officials is a reflection of the psychology of the herd mentality. Disasters happen in a turbulent place. All intense events hide disasters, and intense events are caused by people's herd mentality. It can be said that most tragedies are the result of conformity. It is easy for a person to follow the crowd when he has no direction and no goal to forge ahead with. It is easy for a person to follow the crowd when he has not systematically received the teachings of gods, Buddha, celestial beings, and saints. It is easy for a person to follow the crowd when he wants to achieve what he wants through speculation instead of through hard work. It is easy for a person to follow the crowd when he is poor and sick and lacks faith. It is easy for a person to follow the crowd when he does not have firm beliefs and always suffers setbacks. Following the crowd is easy. On the surface, following the crowd is the safest. However, once you follow the crowd, the quality of your life will decline. Once you follow the crowd, you will plant hidden dangers in your own life, and especially the journey of your life. Maybe at your turning point, a police officer will show up and give you a fine. Divine punishments, though slow, are always sure. Big nets let nothing slip through. Everyone, one day, will bear the inevitable result of his words and deeds in the past. You cannot prevaricate it with the reason everyone is like this, so am I. In front of the Tao, each person is separate. In the human world, the law does not punish numerous offenders, but in the Tao, the law will punish the crowd and individual. How to avoid herd behavior? Let's use the teachings of Lao Tzu. The vulgar are knowing, luminous. I alone am dull, confused. The vulgar are clever, self-assured. I alone am depressed. 生命禅院的重点在西方. The focus of Life Genuine is in the West. Xiefeng, April 1, 2009. Edited by Qin Yu. Dear members of Life Genuine, although the founder of Life Genuine is from the East, and the starting point of Life Genuine is in the East, the focus of Life Genuine is in the West. This is not a conclusion drawn from the practical experience of Life Genuine's development in recent years, but a message that has been made clear since the beginning of Life Genuine. For years ago, in dialogue between Xiefeng and Jesus, it was clearly stated that because suffering begins in the East, we must first harvest the mature crops from the East. However, a large number of mature crops are not in the East but in the West. This information was also revealed in later articles, stating that only about 1 in 1,000 people in the population of the East are Life Genuine members, which is approximately 3 million people. Africa is estimated to have only a few 100,000, and South America has only about 1 million. This means that there are only 5 million Life Genuine members in Asia, Africa, and South America, while there are 69 million in Europe, North America, and Oceania. Xiefeng has had dealings with people from all continents and has had profound exchanges with people from North America, South America, Europe, West Asia, East Asia, and Africa. He has also had deep interactions with Christians, Buddhists, Muslims, and Communist Party members. Therefore, whether it is from the dialogue with Jesus or from social practice, it is deeply understood that the focus of Life Genuine, as stated at the beginning of its founding, is in the